Well, I tell you what, they might be divided and split in the corridors of Westminster, but under the banner of Grassroots Out, what you are seeing are people coming together, men and women from the left and the centre and the right of politics, coming together and saying, this is about putting country before party. This is about putting conscience before career. This is about doing whatever is possible to take back control and pride in who we are as a people. We want our country back. It may not have been that good a week, perhaps, for the Prime Minister, I don't know. He received a letter in the week from Donald Tusk, the President of the European Council. And it's worth remembering that when our Prime Minister first announced that if he won the election, he'd give us a referendum, he was going to fundamentally renegotiate our relationship with Europe. There was going to be treaty change. There were going to be powers brought back to this country. He was going to reform the European Union. He was even going to tackle the absolutely crucial question of the free movement of people. And what he got was a letter from Donald Tusk that says if we're really good, they might let us limit migrant benefits for a maximum period of 4 years. And this, after his Phileas Fogg impression of going around 27 capitals in the course of the last 3 months, and if this is as good as it gets, it's not good enough, is it? It's not good enough. But he didn't seem to be embarrassed about it in the least. In fact, he said this deal was so good that if there was a referendum to join the European Union, he would now vote to join. And I thought perhaps we might just examine that. Imagine if the referendum, which we're probably going to get on June the 23rd, imagine if the question was, do you want to join the European Union? Imagine if that was the question. And here's the Prime Minister's speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we've done pretty well over the course of the last 1,000 years, running our own country, controlling our own borders, stopping people coming in and taking us over, but I've got a fantastic idea for you. We're going to join the European Union. And from this day onwards, our Parliament will no longer be sovereign, and 75% of our laws will be made somewhere else. Would you vote for that in a referendum? No! But it gets better than that. It gets better than that. He would say that our Supreme Court, which should be the ultimate arbiter of any legal case in this country, simply isn't good enough, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do is we're going to make the highest court of the land the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg, which is run by people who aren't even judges. Would you vote for that? Well, he'd also say that this concept that we should control our borders and decide who can come to Britain, this ridiculous, outdated idea that the National Health Service is just for the people of this country. Notice he's got a marvellous idea. Rather than the National Health Service being just for 65 million people, we're going to make it open to 508 million people. Would you vote for that? No. He might say, we have an antiquated industry called the fishing industry. I know it employs tens of thousands of people, but in the spirit of European solidarity, we've decided to give away our 200-mile exclusive limit in the North Sea, and we're going to share it with the rest of Europe, putting tens of thousands of men and women out of work. Would you vote for that? No. And to cap it all, we're going to pay a membership fee of £55 million a day to a club who haven't signed off their account yet. What do you mean? But you know what really gets me? What really gets me isn't just this either self-delusion or grand deception that we're about to see from the Prime Minister. What really gets me isn't just the Prime Minister, but it is, with some notable exceptions, almost our entire political class over the course of the last 40 years. What we hear all the time is that Britain isn't big enough to stand on our own 2 feet and govern ourselves, that Britain needs to be part of this bigger club to negotiate trade deals, that unless we were part of this political union, we couldn't buy and sell goods from each other. In fact, what our political class believe is they believe that Britain isn't good enough for us to run our own country. Well, I believe in Britain, and I believe we are good enough to run our own